Do you know who I am? I'm Ahmed, and I'm working as a research scientist with Barouge, where I help develop innovative plastic solutions that have made Abu Dhabi and the world a better place. I well remember that day in school, when I was enjoying playtime with the other kids. As playtime was about to end, the teacher told us that on Sunday, all the children were to tell the whole class about their father or mother's profession. My friends were discussing what they were going to talk about during Sunday's activity. My friend said that his father is a doctor, and he would talk about how his father saved many lives. Another friend, Rashid, said that his mother worked for Abu Dhabi's biggest oil company, and he would talk about how oil has made the country wealthy and prosperous. At this point, Salam poked me, saying that he knew my father worked for a plastics company and that plastic is a bad thing with harmful effects. I got in a pensive mood as I didn't have a clear answer to my friend's comments. At home, my father noticed my preoccupied mood. He asked me what had happened at school, and I told him about the teacher's assignment. I also told him about my friend's comments and that I was also worried that plastics were bad. So how could I tell my classmates about his work? My father is a wise man, and he promised to tell me all about how plastics are actually of benefit to us all. After my shower, I was sitting down to dinner with my family when my father asked me if I knew that the plastic water pipes in the shower actually made sure that 40% more water got to the shower head, and that water was saved because of the absence of leaks. I was surprised, but he told me that water saving was vital for us all, and that the pipes were flexible so as to minimize damage. I was having bacon, and as I unwrapped the packaging, my father spoke again, asking me if I realized that the reason the bacon was fresh and tasty was because of the innovative plastic used. I stared at him. What plastic did he mean? He then told me that plastic food packaging saved millions of tons of food every year, keeping it fresher for longer and allowing it to be sent all over the world without wasting it. I had to think about that. I had never realized there was so much good in plastics. My sister Fatima asked if I knew of any other plastics that we benefited from. I shrugged, not able to come up with an answer. So she took me around the house and pointed to loads of things, like the computer, the CDs, and more. She said that none of them would be here if plastics didn't exist. Later, my family and I went to the mall, as my father had promised me a new tablet computer. As we drove through town, he told me that our new car saves up to 40% of precious oil. I must have looked surprised, because he then explained that because of the innovative plastics used in the fenders and other body parts, the car used less fuel and made less pollution, so it even contributed to reducing climate change. When we got to the electronics store, the salesman was telling us all about the new high-resolution ultra-flat TVs. And because I'd been learning so much, I asked him if it was because of innovative plastics, and he looked pleasantly surprised, as he told me that it was. He pointed to lots of other things in the shop: tablet computers, mobile phones. I was amazed at all the things I was learning about plastics. What else would I find out about how important plastic has been to human development? After the shopping trip, we all went to visit my aunt in hospital. She just had a baby girl, and we were all excited to see her. I noticed a nurse pushing a medicine trolley and saw that all the bottles and packets were transparent plastic. The nurse noticed me watching and asked if I was okay. I asked her about the bottles. She told me that nearly all of the important equipment in the hospital, like syringes, drips, tubes, and even non-woven masks, were made from special plastics that made them safe and kept them free from contamination. At home, I went straight to my room. I had much to think about. My father came to my room a bit later and asked me what was on my mind. I asked him about the camels. I had read that camels died in the desert because of plastic bags. How could you explain that? And my father said, yes, it happened, but that was the fault of people. If we changed our behavior and stopped littering, then camels would be safer. We must learn to be responsible about how we use these bags to protect the environment. I thought about everything my father had told me. I remember my father smiling at me, happy that I had begun to understand how important plastics were to us all. I had thought that plastics were bad and of how my father then explained the numerous benefits of plastics to me. Today, many years later, as I look around, I marvel at the progress that my beloved emirate has made. And as a scientist with Barouge, I know the major role that our plastic solutions have played in achieving this progress. Innovative plastic solutions have defined our future, and Barouge has been a key catalyst towards achieving Abu Dhabi's Vision 2030, which has now been realized. Today, I show my friends that plastics have indeed shaped our future.